Forms of hyperbola which we will be learning here. The first is x squared by a squared minus y squared by b squared equal to 1, where a is greater than 0, b is greater than 0, and b squared equal to a squared into e squared minus 1. So the graph of this hyperbola will be something like this. You have the y-axis here, and then you have the x-axis here. And the hyperbola, there will be two curves here, one on the right and one on the left. And this is the horizontal axis here is called the transverse axis. And the length of the transverse axis is 2a. Then the vertical axis here is called the conjugate axis. And the length of the conjugate axis is 2b. Then you have the center, which is 0, 0. So your center is 0, 0. The vertices are, there are two vertices here, a0 and minus a0. So these are the vertices, plus or minus a comma 0. You have two foci here, one to the right and one to the left. This is S and S dash. These are the foci. S and S dash are the foci, and S has coordinates plus or minus a comma 0. Then you have the latus rectum, which is a straight line passing through the focus and perpendicular to the axis. So there are two latus rectum here, straight line passing through the focus and perpendicular to the axis. These are this is a latus rectum, this and this. And length of the latus rectum is given by 2b squared by a. Then you have a directrix, so there are two directrices. One is on the right side to the left of the curve, and the other one is on the left side to the right of the curve. So these are the directrices. There are two of them, and equation of the directrix is given by x equal to plus or minus a by e. And then you have the center, which is C, which is 0, 0. So these are the points which you need to remember. Now we come to the second type of the curve, and that is second type of parabola, and that is y squared by a squared minus x squared by b squared equal to 1, where again a greater than 0, b greater than 0, and b squared remains a squared into e squared minus 1. So this curve would be something like this. You have the x-axis here, and then you have the y-axis here, and the hyperbola would be something like this, one on the right and bottom and top. So as usual, your center is C. C is the center, which is 0, 0. Then in this case, your transverse axis, this is the transverse axis. And the length of the transverse axis is given by 2a. Then this will be the conjugate axis. And its length is 2b. Then you have the vertices. There are two vertices here. This is 0a and 0 minus a. So these are the vertices. So So I'll just write it down here. Your vertices are 0 plus or minus a. And then you have the foci. There are two foci, one at the top and one at the bottom. So they are S and S dash. These are the foci, one on each side. And the foci are given by the formula 0 plus or minus AE. Then you have the latus rectum will be a line passing through the focus and perpendicular to the axis, in both the cases straight line, and length of the latus rectum is given by 2b squared by a. That is the same in both the cases. So this is the latus rectum, one at the top and one at the bottom. Then you have the directrix, which is again a straight line, one at the top here and one at the bottom here. So these are the directrix. There are two directrices. And equation of the directrix is given by, what is the equation of the directrix given by? It is y equal to plus or minus a by e. So these are the basic concepts which you need to remember in a hyperbola, namely the center, the conjugate axis, transverse axis, their length, the foci, the latera recta, the length, the vertices, and equation of the directrix. So we have gone through the two basic forms of the hyperbola and their two important main components. Thank you. So that concludes session 2 on hyperbola.